Hey everybody, turn this on over here and excuse me, and I'm gonna go hop on over to the computer and turn on the other link we're gonna be coming from. Hey, if you're hopping on, I'm trying to figure out how to get on this other application. So, hello, just give me a few minutes to try to figure this out. Maybe this will work and I won't have to worry about it. How about that? Might have to just do another one. Hey, I'll get started in just a few minutes. Hey everybody, I'm trying to get this other application up and running. You guys hear my son? He's trying to find me. Hey darling. He's about to make a cameo appearance. You say hey to everybody? Look, you see him? Say hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Say hey.
Hey.
Tell them what you just got finished doing.
Golf.
You just played golf, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, sorry guys, I'm trying to get this other pulled up. Maybe, okay, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so what we're going to do, because I'm not sure what this is doing, we're just going to see if this gives us problems, and if it does, then I will figure the other out. So, hello, if you guys are jumping in. I tried to do two different things, and hopefully this one's going to work. The other one doesn't seem to be working tonight, of course. Welcome. I'm excited about this topic. Hopefully we have some busy moms on tonight that are ready to learn some reasons why you might want to get started with oils or use them more if you already have them, and then we're going to also talk about why you might want to think about using them on yourself, and as a busy mom, why it's so important to take care of yourself. Now, if you're on and you start having connection issues, please let me know, and I might have to take a brief little pause and try to figure out this application that I was going to use, but hopefully we won't have problems tonight. I'm just crossing my fingers because the other didn't work, so I'm thinking it must be a sign, right? Okay, so we're going to jump right in and go ahead and get started. If you're hopping on, say hey, tell me you're here. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have or anything that comes up. You really need this information. You are one busy mama, that's for sure. So hopefully we've got some others on tonight that need it as well. I know I do. I'm definitely a busy mom. I don't know any mom that's not busy, no matter how many kids you have, right? So, hey Michelle, so glad you could join in. So to get started, Obviously, I'm a mom. I have 2 young kids. You just saw one of them if you were on earlier. He's 2. And then I have an almost 5-year-old daughter. She'll be 5 next month. So, hey, Megan. Good to see you. So, you know, I'm definitely busy. You know, no matter what age, I feel like if your kids get older, I guess I felt like as my kids get older, it would get easier. But then I hear it actually doesn't get easier. It gets harder. So, there's no hope, right? There's no hope for us. Just kidding. Being a mom is the best job ever, and I'm so grateful that I get to be one, but it can be stressful, and it can be busy, and we can put ourselves last and just our cup is always empty, right? That's very easy to do, and I find myself, you know, venturing off that path lots of times and have to kind of recorrect myself. So hopefully this will be a great reminder for you tonight on why you need to take care of yourself as well. But the first half of the class is going to be on how you can use these, convenient ways to use these, ways that will make it easier to use natural solutions on your kids. So I first wanted to start off just by kind of talking about, you know, the idea around, you know, everybody's busy. You know, I title this Busy Moms. You know, I think we all can say we're busy. Everybody's busy, right? Whether we have, you know, 1 child, 2, 3, 4, whatever, how many children we have, we work, if we don't, there's always something nowadays that can fill our time. And whether that is something that's good or not so good for us, or a distraction, or if it's doing good, irregardless of that, I just feel like everybody is busy. But I also feel in that same token that we can't always use that as an excuse, because, you know, I had to come to this realization, just like everybody else should, that we basically, you know, just as much as we think that we don't have control over that, we do. No matter if we have to go to work, and you know, I understand that takes time out of your day, obviously, if you can't be home to get things done. But regardless, you know, I used to think that, you know, I was working full-time and then was able to come home and work, you know, part-time from home, and I always used to think I'm going to have all this time, I'm going to get to do all these things. Not really. You know, I think you just fill your time, and your time gets filled if you don't take ownership of it and really, you know, set boundaries. I think that's very important, because we can just keep saying yes, yes, yes to everything, and then we're in turn saying no to the priorities that we have. You know, they kind of keep getting pushed back. And so I just wanted to kind of, you know, talk a little bit around that, because it is very important not to use that as a crutch, not to use that as an excuse to not do the things that, you know, is on your heart that you know you should do. Whether that's, you know, I mean, I don't know what that is for you, but for some people, it's this lifestyle. It is, you know, getting started in the whole world of essential oils and trying to start incorporating them more, or, you know, whatever it might be. Maybe it's eating healthy, you know. I mean, sometimes that's just kind of can fall to the wayside when we get busy, right? And I totally understand. It's definitely something that has to be on the forefront of your mind, or else it's, you know, it's going to be on the back burner. So I just wanted to kind of make you think maybe a little bit more about that, if that's you. If that's you and you say, in your head, you're always saying, I'm too busy for this, I'm too busy for that. You know, at some point you have to realize you're in charge of what you do with your time, you know, especially outside of work, and, you know, in the mornings and at nights and on the weekends, different things like that. You can fit it in if you want to. It just basically boils down to if you want to make it a priority or not. And so I would just encourage you to think about it. See if you feel like it needs to be a priority in your life. I can definitely attest to the fact that, you know, feeling like that. I mean, I can understand how somebody would feel like that, because, you know, if you don't know a lot about this and you might think it's overwhelming, and is it really going to be of much benefit? Different things like that are definitely valid thoughts, but I feel like it definitely gives you a sense of just empowerment that you can't get any other way. You know, having a natural toolbox to go to, feeling empowered as a mom, to where, you know, I always used to feel like, maybe it's just me, that I was worried if my kids got sick, I didn't know what I was going to do, just a lot of worry around that. And now I don't have that. I truly don't. I just know, and I just feel confident in the fact that I'm going to try, you know, X, Y, and Z, and if that doesn't work, then obviously we're going to go to the doctor, we're going to figure something out. But I just have that sense of, you know, just like I said, just not control, but just that extra sense of security, I guess. Because probably 95% of the time, essential oils will work for whatever ailments you have or whatever issue that comes up. So definitely something to think about when we're talking about being a busy mom. Another thing is consistency is absolutely key. Sometimes people get started in this and they just want to use the products and the oils whenever they have some sort of ailment and just when they don't feel well or just under certain circumstances. But it's a lot like food. You wouldn't just eat food when you were about to starve and on your deathbed. You would eat food, 3 times a day and maybe some snacks, and same thing. You kind of have to use these throughout the day, or at least, once a day. It's just very important to use these consistently, because that's what's going to support your body in the best way, and hopefully, obviously, you won't get sick as often and you will feel better overall and you'll have better health. So when I'm talking about these, it's very important to use them consistently, and that's kind of why I wanted to tell you how you would make that easier. Because let's just say if you, get your kit of oils, or you have yours, you already have some, and you keep them at one spot in your house, and then every time you need some lavender, you're back in the bedroom, you have to go in the kitchen or whatever, you're going to be running all around your house, and it's not going to really be very convenient, and that really deters you from using it. And that's why so many people probably don't incorporate these more. So I wanted to give you some ideas and some ways that you could incorporate them more in your everyday life and in different areas and different spots in your house, so that hopefully you will use them more, and it'll just be a lot easier, right? We want to make things simple. I, for one, love to make things more simple. I'm always looking for ways that I can make things more simple, whether it's cooking or organizing or, sharing stuff with my team, different things like that. I love trying to make things more simple and more and easier. We all could use that, I think. So let's first talk about kids, and then we'll talk a little bit about the mom kind of portion of this class. So, I love, probably one of the things that I love most about using essential oils on kids is that not only is there basically, you can, I don't have my other book up here, but you could look in a reference book. My favorite is the Essential Life book, but this is a great one too, Modern Essentials. You could look in there and look up 100 different ways to use an oil. But the great thing is that if you say, your child had stomach discomfort and you used some Digestin and it didn't take it away right away, or maybe it didn't work at all, for maybe because it was their head hurting and they said it was their stomach. That happens a lot. But I absolutely love the fact of knowing that if I use something like that on my child, even though it didn't take it away, it did not hurt them. And I mean, I don't feel comfortable recommending something that is synthetic, that's over-the-counter product, something like that, and confidently saying that about it. Yeah, I really couldn't do that. There's a lot of controversy around a lot of those things. I would not feel comfortable using them unless I absolutely had no other choice. But I'm just glad that I do have a choice in this, and that I do feel comfortable and just confident in the fact, like I said, that even if it doesn't take away the pain, which most of the time it usually does, but if it doesn't, it hasn't done any harm. So that makes me feel more confident as a mom. And like I said, I really love having a toolbox that I can go to. You have something comes up, you go look in the reference book, you go to your oil case, you see what, you just kind of mix up something, and that's it. How simple is that? You don't have to run to the drugstore. You don't have to look something up on the internet. You don't have to try to call the on-call nurse or whatnot. Not that those aren't good things to do, but, why not use this as a first defense, right? Now, I'm not saying anything about, not using medication, not going to the doctor. If you absolutely needed to, of course I would. But, why not try this first? That's all. I feel like it makes life so much simpler. And as a busy mom, as we're talking about, you need that. Everybody, we all need easier and more simple. Okay, so when you think about using essential oils on kids, most of the time, unless they're probably over, I would say 5 to 6, you're going to be using them on their skin topically or in the air aromatically. So just wanted to talk a little bit around those and kind of how you would use those on your children and why. So, if you haven't, I should have said this at the first of the class. If this is your first class in this series and you've never heard anything about essential oils, it would be very beneficial to go back and watch the basics class that I did. It should be saved in this group, very easy to find. There's not too many posts. Go back and watch that and get some really good information about the absolute basics. What are essential oils? How to use them? A couple of facts on the main different ones. So I would encourage you to go back and watch that if you haven't. But a little bit on aromatic use and why it's so great for kids, especially, is because it when you turn on a diffuser, it's going to affect everybody in the room, and it's just a very easy way to get it in, on, and around them. So, you know, when you think about respiratory issues or mood issues, you know, they're just in a funky mood, or they just can't get going in the morning, different things like that. It's really great to use them aromatically, and like I said, one of the best ways to do that is a diffuser. It's saying my connection is weak, so if you guys are having issues, let me know. I haven't seen anybody post anything, so hopefully it'll be fine. And if not, I'll have to figure out this thing over here, but I'm hoping I won't have to do that. So I'm going to keep going. So aromatic use is a very, very great and easy way to use them with your kids. Topically, obviously, is easy as well, but it takes a little bit, I guess, a little bit more, not planning, but I guess time, just because if you want to use them topically, a lot of times you would want to, here's my roller bottle, you would want to make up a roller bottle. And I talked about this in the basics class, but this is one of the easiest ways that you can use them topically when not have to get out a carrier oil, put some in your palm, you know, get out the oils that you want to need, mix it up, and you get them on your hands, different things like that. This just makes it way easier. You can pre-dilute them, and you can, you know, keep it by their bedside table. You can actually send it to school with them. They can do it. It just really empowers them as well, because isn't that the great thing about this? You know, you can teach them about natural solutions, about how to listen to their body versus just kind of, you know, going with, you know, the recommendation and then kind of not listening to their body, just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it pretty much. So making a roller bottle is a very great thing to do, a very easy thing to do. Like I said, you know, obviously it takes time to make these, but they last at least a month, I would say, even if you use it every single day. So what you would do just to take the cap off, and you would put some carrier oil inside. I usually fill it up about 3/4 of the way full, and then I would fill the rest with whatever essential oils that you want in there. So some popular ones that I wanted to mention that I have always made up and that a lot of people love to make up as well. The first one would be the seasonal blend, and it's for those symptoms, you know, itchy, stuffy, congested feeling, so coughing maybe. So that will be lavender, lemon, and peppermint, and you could put it in a little roller bottle. You could roll it on their feet or on their back. Whenever they're having those symptoms, they can do it themselves as well. Another great one to use is if they are not feeling well. You could mix up, it's called Flume. So frankincense, lemon, on guard, oregano, and melaleuca. So we have it, the acronym Flume, so you can remember it. So putting those oils in a roller bottle, they can use that when they're under the weather. They can also use it as an immune booster every day if they want to. I wouldn't say every day though. It has oregano in it, is why I say that. You shouldn't use oregano every single day because it's very strong. So probably use that one, just use that one when you are feeling under the weather, or they are. And then you could use something like On Guard or Arbor Vitae every day to kind of boost their immune system. So those are great ones to put in there. You could also put some sleep oils in there if they want to. Like my daughter loves to put them on the bottom of her feet before she goes to bed. She didn't really have issues sleeping, but it just helps her get a more of a restful sleep at night, helps her drift off to sleep faster, because sometimes she just doesn't want to go on to sleep. She just wants to call us 100 times to try to stall. I don't know if anybody else's kids do that. So putting some lavender or cedarwood or vetiver, those are all good choices to put in a roller bottle. Obviously, you could use those aromatically as well. And we'll talk about, I've kind of broken it up into different areas that it's great to use oils in kids for, and so we'll talk about that more so in a minute. So one other thing on topical use, they actually make a pre-made roller bottle in some of the most popular single oils and some of the blends as well. It's called the Touch Kit. So I wanted to mention that. If you want to get started and you really don't want to deal with making any of these and you just want to use them topically on your kids, the Touch Kit is a great option. So I wanted to kind of let you know that was an option. Okay, so talking about convenience and placement. So I talked about how convenient making roller bottles was. You can actually also make your own hand sanitizer or some kind of spray. I don't know exactly what this had in it. I just kind of grabbed it. It's an old Clary Sage bottle. So what you can do is you can either buy amber bottles and fill them with the mixture, or what you can do is take an old bottle and you can purchase these mister tops. off the internet, and then you just mix up the blend that you want in here, and then you just pop this on here. And it makes like I love to make hand sanitizers in these. And what I'll do is I'll just keep those around in a lot of different places, like in the car, in my purse, in a diaper bag, maybe on the changing table, different places like that. It just makes it very convenient. You can use these all throughout the day, you know, and kind of, you know, it's just a great way to have a natural option rather than using like the gel hand sanitizer. So I love to keep these made up. Also, you can keep these roller bottles anywhere as well. You can keep them in your purse or on the kids' bedside tables, in the kitchen, in your bedroom. There's so many different options, and I love to save my old bottles as well to make these, but I also like to use those so I can refill them and use them in the kids' bedrooms, or if you know, want to use them in my purse, take the oils different places with me. So don't throw away your old bottles if you're already an avid user and you have those. So you can use those for so many different things. Let's see, hand sanitizer. Correct X is another convenient product that I feel like busy moms would love. It is it's called the Essential Ointment. It actually has essential oils in a non-petroleum based ointment. So it's kind of like a Neosporin, a natural Neosporin. So you can use this on cuts or scrapes, or, you know, I usually just keep some with Band-Aids, just like I would, you know, use Neosporin. It's also great to use as a mom. You can use it on your lips. It really is great for if they're really chapped, maybe in the winter. You could use it on if you had like a patch of eczema, a little patch or something. It's a great ointment. It has some really, really great oils in here. It has frankincense and helichrysum, cedarwood, melaleuca, and lavender. So that's a great one to keep for different things. It's like an all-purpose ointment. If you just don't know what to put on it, just put some of this on it, and it'll usually do the trick. So that one's a great one to have. Hey, Sheila. So hand wash, you can also make that. It's great to have that, you know, obviously in different places around your house. You can buy the On Guard hand wash, or you can make your own with castile soap, water, and just On Guard essential oil. You can also play around with which oils you put in there, but that's just a really basic combination that you could use. You can make body wash that's great for kids. You can put lavender in that if you want to use it on them before bedtime, kind of have that relaxing effect. And again, it's just castile soap, water, and the lavender. So very, very easy, very inexpensive as well, because a lot of the natural hand soaps and body washes are expensive. They're more expensive than regular. So to make these, it would be, you know, probably just a couple dollars. So that's a great option to have. Okay, so I broke it down as well into different areas that I wanted to just kind of speak on as far as how to use these on kids, and then we'll kind of go into the busy moms type of thing. And so I'm glad nobody's saying they have technical difficulties, so hopefully everybody is good on this broadcast, thank goodness. So the first kind of area that I wanted to talk about was focus, and this is something that does come up quite frequently. Maybe not at the end of the school year like we are, but definitely at the beginning of the school year in the fall. It probably comes up a little bit more. But just, you know, you want your kids to kind of pay attention and you know, listen to what the teachers are saying, digest the information. And so it's definitely something that comes up a good bit with moms. They want their kids to focus and get the most out of their school, the time at school. So I wanted to talk a little bit about which oils would be best for that. Probably the number one blend, it's right here, is Intune, and it conveniently comes in its own roller bottle already. So this one, actually, this is the only way it comes because it can only be used topically, so they just put it in a roller bottle. And it is a blend, it's called a Focus blend. It has sandalwood and patchouli, frankincense, lime, ylang ylang, and sandalwood, and also Roman chamomile. So I didn't used to like the way this smells, to be honest. It's a strong smell, but now I just love it. So definitely this is probably the number one thing for focus. It has vetiver in it, so vetiver is extremely, extremely good for calming your nervous system. It's really good for people with like ADHD, maybe some type of like tic or something like that. It's really good for that because it helps to calm your nervous system, and it's one of the most grounding oils that there are. So it's in here, but using vetiver by itself would be a good option. Cedarwood is great. Using what was the other one I had put on here? Balance is good also, and peppermint. So those are some good ones that you can use for focus. And if you wanted to make your own roller bottle blend, obviously you could just use an empty roller bottle and then put the coconut oil or whatever carrier oil you're using, and then put the essential oils on top of that. And your child can carry this to school. Hopefully most schools will let, you know, I mean, I don't say most, I mean, I guess the most ones that I hear about, they don't have any problems with it. They can keep it in their book bag and maybe use it during the day. You could use it maybe in the morning. They could use it at around lunch, and then you can use it at night even if you needed that. You love the smell of Intune. I do too. I use it actually as perfume, and people ask me a lot. I say I use that and Whisper. I love both of those. But a lot of times I'll use Intune, and they'll be like, what do you have on? So it's interesting how all the oils smell different on different people too. I guess, you know, everybody has different body chemistry. But I do love the way it smells too. Okay, so that's focus. So the next topic I wanted to talk about was first aid. So I kind of already talked about Correct-X. Correct-X is probably, I would say, kind of number one for first aid. You can kind of put it on anything, you know, scratch, just any kind of cut, scrape, different things like that. It's great for bruises too. So this, you can actually make your own what's called like a boo-boo spray. You can put frankincense, lavender, and melaleuca in it and kind of spray it on. I used to do that before they came out with this Correct-X, but I like this better because it stays on better. You know, I just feel like it coats the area better, so that's what I would use in place of that, but you could totally make your own. Let's see what else. I had some little notes down here. I didn't want to forget any. Lavender by itself is really good. It's great for cuts or scrapes. It's going to help heal the skin. It's going to help the skin to heal quicker, and it's going to kind of just soothe it while it's doing that. So bug bites, you know, that might not seem like a first aid, but I'm telling you, if like my kids get a bug bite, it's like the end of the world. They're like, oh my God, it's just so bad. So lavender will take the itch away very quickly. It's got some great antihistamine properties to it. That's why it takes the sting and the kind of itchiness away from it so fast. And then frankincense. Obviously, if you've been on any of my classes, you've heard me say frankincense has a high anti-inflammatory component to it, and that's why it's so good for anything that you can think of first aid. A lot of these things have frankincense in it anyway, so it's one of the go-to oils for that. So digestive support is another area that comes up a lot with kids. Digestin is probably the favorite, I would say, for that. It's a blend, so it has a lot of different oils in there that's going to be very supportive to your digestive system no matter what's going on in it. Cardamom and wild orange and ginger, I would probably put that in that category. They're all really good for digestive support. They probably each play a different role, I guess. You can kind of, you know, that's why I was just saying everybody's body's chemistry is different. So you'll probably want to play around with this and see, depending on what issue you or your child has, to see which oil their body responds to the best. But those are some really good ones that you could think about trying. And just, like I said, you can make your own roller bottle of that for them to use. Or they could just use it if their skin is sensitive. They could just use it, you know, right on their stomach, undiluted. Okay, so the last one is seasonal symptoms. So this does come up a lot with children especially. I cannot tell you how many moms I've had come to me and be like, my child has terrible allergies. What can I do? They're on all these medications. I just don't know what to do. They're not helping. And I see that all the time, especially in the pharmacy. People will always come up and ask me, and you know, I kind of have to recommend something that's there. But if they wanted my real opinion, this would be my real opinion. So the lavender, lemon, and peppermint combination is probably, I mean, it will probably work about 90% of the time. And so lots of times kids can start tapering off those medications and just strictly go to using oils, just because any of the oils help your body come back to a state of balance. And that's really what it's craving. You know, if you use one, it doesn't work, they just keep piling on more. And not to blame anybody. I mean, if I didn't have any choice, that's what I would do as well. But just to know that you can give your body what it needs, and it starts to just be what it should be, you know. I mean, just no more of the symptoms, and you feel better, and you have more energy, and your color looks better. So I've definitely seen that a lot with children, especially with allergies. just with our food and the environment that we live in now, the different things that we put in our skin, all of those things matter when it comes to allergies. A lot of people don't realize what you eat really makes a difference with allergies. Even seasonal allergies, it can make them way worse. If your diet is not, pretty good, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, that can really affect your allergies and make them a lot worse. So I would recommend making up a roller bottle of the lavender, lemon, and peppermint. If your child is older, probably over, I would say 7 or so, if they can swallow a pill, I guess, would be kind of the determining factor, because they make a Tri-Ease capsule that has those 3 oils in it. So if they can swallow a capsule, they can take that, and I would just recommend they starting probably once or twice a day and see how that does them, and then kind of go from there, more or less. You can take probably up to 3 a day, I would say would be fine. So I would start there, and then if that doesn't do the trick, I would add Melaleuca or basil. Those will be some good ones to add to that blend. The other 2 I recommend are only topical use, so you could obviously make a roller bottle and put these in there. So Purify and Arbor Vitae are the other ones that I would recommend for allergy symptoms. Those tend to work really well. You can just kind of play around with it again, but I would just start with that basic trio and then go from there, kind of work outward. And you could obviously diffuse Breathe. Breathe is a great one to use for allergies. It helps with the cough and the congestion that can come along with that. So diffusing Breathe, you can put some on your chest as well. A lot of times if you diffuse something, it really does help with the allergies, because it helps to affect your nose and kind of eyes and just head more. So if you've been just using them topically, you may want to add some of the aromatic benefits to that as well. Other ones that I wanted to mention, this will kind of be along more of the lines of congestion. So white fir, cardamom, ginger, those are all really great for chest and like throat congestion. So you could kind of make a little rub with that, put it in some coconut oil, and then just rub it right here on your chest. And it really helps get rid of that mucus that can kind of just stick to your throat and this congestion that you have in your chest. So those are some great ones that'll help loosen that up and kind of get it on out. Immune support is the next kind of category or area that I wanted to talk about. So we know On Guard is great, but what else could be used? On Guard is the #1 selling blend. Everybody loves On Guard that uses it. It has a great scent to it. It works really well. But I like to kind of vary what I use as far as immune support goes, because a lot of people ask me, does your body get used to oils, or is it going to stop working? And I'll say no, it doesn't stop working, but what it does is it just gets less sensitive to the effects. So say you use lavender every night for sleep, and then all of a sudden you kind of start feeling like it's not working quite as well. That's because your body just doesn't respond to it as much. I guess as quickly or as well. So I like to try to swap up the oils that I'm using, so therefore my body is pretty much always responding pretty well to that oil. So as far as if you were thinking about sleep, you could use lavender or Serenity or vetiver and kind of swap those out every week. And then if you're thinking about immune support, you could use On Guard and Arbor Vitae and Melissa if you have that one, or Rosemary is another good one. So looking again in a reference book to try to see different ideas, but making a roller bottle of that, letting them do it, letting them put it on their feet. You could do it at night or before they went to school. But again, keeping it right there beside their bedside table is a great thing to do, because you don't want to be you're already chasing them around trying to get them ready for school. So you don't want to be chasing, and looking for the roller bottle. You're going to forget about it. I know I would for sure. So keeping it right there in the kitchen is what I do, or right on their bedside table if I'm going to use it at night. You've got to keep those things all throughout your house, because I promise, I don't know many people that are just going to remember when things are kind of going haywire and you're trying to get out the door. So definitely make sure that you keep those handy, and try to just set yourself up for success, right? So next one is emotional well-being, and I talked about this in detail in the class that I did on Tuesday, but just to touch on this really quickly, kids need emotional support. Some kids may not need as much, some kids may need more, but really every child needs the support, obviously, from the parent first and foremost, but oils can really help with that. It can really help them just kind of process their emotions better. It's going to help them, their nervous system kind of calm down and not be so hyperactive if that's an issue for them. So using Balance is a great thing to use every day or just in certain situations. Peace is another great one. Wild Orange is great, and then Cheer. Those are probably the top 4 that I use. You can look in the reference book again and kind of make your own, but those are the ones that I like to use, especially probably Peace is my #1 favorite. And it really does help calm them down. It helps them to kind of just stay grounded in their situation. And it really is very helpful when you think about kids kind of getting out of control. So definitely want to keep those handy as well. And 2, I mentioned also if they were sort of dealing with a certain situation, I mentioned some oils for like overwhelm and oils for transition. You can make up your own little personalized or their little personalized blend and let them use it, you know, if they're having issues with going to school in the morning or you know, different things like that. Maybe they're having a difficult transition from class to class, so you can let them use it during that time. So those are just some options. And then the last one is sleep. I sort of already mentioned a good many of these, but using oils for sleep in kids is great. I mean, a lot of kids sleep fine during the night. Maybe they have trouble going to sleep or just staying asleep. So using oils to help them fall asleep and honestly getting a better quality of sleep. You know, I know that, like I was saying, I used to sleep fine as an adult, but the oils just help me get into a deeper sleep, and so I feel more rested when I wake up. And we want that for our kids. I mean, they need restful sleep for their brain to develop and to, you know, kind of just recharge their body and get ready for the next day. I mean, they need sleep really, really. You know, it's a very integral part of their development. So using, you know, lavender is a great one, or Serenity or Vetiver or cedarwood. Those are all great ones to use at night. Those are probably the top 4 sleep oils. But just try to see what works best for them. You know, some people, lavender keeps them up. It's kind of like Benadryl. Most kids get sleepy, but some kids get hyper. So you'll just have to see, because everybody's different. So don't give up. Just keep trying different ones and see what works best for them. Okay, so let's swap over and talk about moms now. And, you know, hopefully that helps you, the tips that I've given you on how to make these more accessible and which ones to use on kids. And that's great information. And a lot I see parents, and especially moms, getting oils to use on their kids. And that's the primary reason that they get started. And I totally understand. I mean, that was honestly probably the primary reason that I got started, just because we want to do the best that we can for our kids. But honestly, we need help too. Like, I didn't know how much help I needed. And that's what happens a lot of times, especially if, you know, you really start seeing these benefits, and then you just start seeing the gateway that this can be. You know, it can really be a gateway to so many different things, and I've seen it happen so many times, and it's great to see, because I think a lot of times as women, we just do put ourselves last. We're always taking care of everybody else, and it's very rare for us to actually take some time for ourselves. And I used to be the same way. I've really had to work on it. And you do, honestly, it is going to be something that you'll have to be just more mindful of, and just really set those boundaries that, okay, tonight, like, I am getting in a bath and I'm reading a book, and that's, I mean, you know, whatever else happens, like, Dad can handle it. But I feel like a lot of times we just say yes to everybody and no to ourselves. And so I do feel like this is a very important topic that we don't talk about a lot. You know, I talk to a lot of moms and just see a lot of moms that look completely burnt out. And I just don't think we're doing ourselves any good. We're not gonna be a better mom to our kids if we don't take care of ourselves. I've seen myself be what I would consider a better mom and a better wife, and just better in general, because I try to take care of myself the best I can. Now, I'm always trying to improve that, but just taking the time for ourselves is something that we really need. And I would just pose a question to you, like, do you think you're worth it? Some women just simply don't think they're worth it. And I just would encourage you to really think that through, because if you keep saying no to self-care and no to, going a little bit of extra time to fix some healthy food to nourish your body so you can have that energy and feel your best, and you know, if you keep saying no to those things, you're really saying, I'm not worth it. I'm not worth the time. I'm not worth the effort. And you are worth it. I can definitely, you know, I mean, I just want to give moms a hug that don't think they're worth it, because they are, you know. A lot of times we just kind of lose our identity when we become a mom, especially a busy one. We just kind of keep going just because, and I'm very much that person. It'll just be like, head down, keep going. I'm just gonna make it through. And but sometimes that doesn't serve us very well, or our children very well. So I wanted to try to give you a little bit of some ideas on how you can take care of yourself better, and different ways to make it easy. Like I said, I'm always trying to make things easier, and how can we kind of make it a routine and make it a habit, and then that way it just becomes, we don't have to think about it, it just becomes kind of like second nature. So I wanted to talk about things that are foundational. I forgot what video I think it was the emotional wellness one, where I talked about how supplementation is foundational. And you can go back and watch that. I talked in detail about the Lifelong Vitality Pack, Terrazyme, and I think PB Assist, the probiotic. But those are foundational, especially Lifelong Vitality Pack, because that's what's going to give you the great foundation to have that support that you need, the energy and the focus, and just the overall health and wellness that you need to be a better mom, and to be just to feel better, to be a better person. And wife, and all those hats that you wear, right? We have like a million different hats as a mom. So definitely wanted to mention that. And a lot of people also say, I'm not going to remember to take that. Like, how am I going to remember to take these pills? I can't even hardly remember to brush my teeth at night. So what I would recommend would be for you to think, am I worth it? You have to kind of get that in your mind, and then you have to kind of set that intention. Yes, I'm worth it. Yes, I'm worth, filling my pill container every week and sitting it on the counter so I'll remember to take my supplements every day, because I know that that's the best thing I can do for myself, and I know that's what's going to kind of fuel my body and make me just be better for everybody. So I would just encourage you to do that. I can't come fill your pill container for you. I can't set reminders for you, and I will agree. I mean, it has to be something that you kind of make a priority to do. So I would encourage you to do that. And I really feel like if you would try it, lots of women say, I don't want to do it, and then I say, just try it, and they'll be like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Of course I'm going to remember to take it. So it's a lot easier when you can know how much better you feel. So Lifelong Vitality is an absolute must. It's foundational. The second kind of area is hormonal support. And this is a big topic. I talked a little bit about it in the last class, but it's something that if it gets off balance, your whole life, your whole health is going to be off balance, to be honest. And a lot of times, gosh, whether it's just sleep issues or emotional issues, or our face is breaking out, or we have constipation issues, like all of those things can stem from your hormones being out of balance. It's crazy all the things that it can affect. So kind of spending a little bit extra time in this specific area can really serve you well. So I would like to mention 3 different things that I feel like are game changers in this area. First one would be Clary Calm. It's a roller bottle. I think I have one right over here. It smells really great too. That's a bonus. It comes in a convenient little roller because you can only use it topically. And it has some great oils in it that help support your overall balance when it comes to hormones. So, whether you are older, and a lot of, women ask, I've got to have all my organs removed. Like, I don't need hormonal support. Yes, you do, because your other tissues in your body is still going to produce some hormones. So it's beneficial for almost all women. Even, daughters that are kind of are right around that age, that are right at puberty, is really going to help them as well, kind of make that transition. So using this every night, and I'll talk about having a morning and a bedtime routine and why I feel like that's so important. This is part of my bedtime routine. I use it every night. I also use phytoestrogen. That is a plant-based supplement that helps balance the overall estrogen in your body. So most of us have too much estrogen because we eat foods that have what's called xenoestrogens in them, and that throws the natural balance of estrogen off in our body. And it makes it almost feel like a false positive, like our body thinks we have too much estrogen, so it doesn't produce enough natural estrogen. So that's a huge problem, especially when we think about what we eat. Are we eating processed foods? Are we eating foods that have contain genetically modified ingredients? Packaged foods almost always do, unless they have a little symbol on them. Different things like that. If we're not eating enough fresh fruits and vegetables, that is throwing our hormones off balance. And anything that you do to try to get them on balance, but yet you're still eating that food, it's never going to work. So it's a constant battle. So you can understand why you need supplementation to try to offset that, because let's face it, nobody eats perfect. So using the phytoestrogen really helps to kind of balance your hormones. So using that together with Clari-Calm is what I found to be most effective, along with a diet that is heavy in fruits and vegetables and just real food and very little processed food. So just wanted to kind of mention that, because I hear a lot of people and they have these certain issues and they haven't quite realized that it's really due to the hormones. So having those in check can really just make your life a whole lot easier, right? Okay. So focus is another area that I thought a busy mom could use focus, right? I know that I could. I know that if I walk into a room, sometimes I forgot why I came in there, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, even though I feel like I shouldn't have that problem at this age, but I still do. So focus is something that a busy mom needs. I would revert back to the Lifelong Vitality Pack. That has helped me have a lot more focus, because it has those omegas in there that help feed your brain. It has the healthy fats that are going to help feed your brain and help it work better, therefore keeping you more focused. I would also recommend using Intune. I love to use Intune. A lot of times, like I said, I'll just use it as my perfume because I love the way it smells, but it really does help keep me on task. Now, I mean, I don't just go around putting it on all day long. I'd like to use it obviously when I'm working, but maybe like I've got a bunch of things I need to get done in the kitchen. I just want to get all this meal prep done. I'll put some Intune on, because I'm telling you, you're like laser focused. So being a busy mom, you need to have focus, because I used to call myself the queen of multitasking, but womp womp, I realized that that's not really a great thing to like boast about, because you don't really yes, you get things done, but they're not done well, and you're usually way more frazzled after you're trying to do like 5 different things at one time. I'm sure that my employer liked that I was very multitask. I could multitask very well, but in the real world, it's really not that advantageous for us to multitask all the time. So staying on one task, completing it, moving on to the next one, Intune is my go-to for that. Let's see, Motivate is another one that really helps kind of get you going, but also keeps you on task. We talked about that one in the last class as well. Peppermint helps to keep your mental acuity, helps to keep your mind sharp. So that one is a great one. What else did I put on here? Wild Orange. That one is not maybe so much for focus, but it really does help with energy. So if you need to get a task done, if you're just kind of feeling blah, if you just need to get going, Wild Orange is a great one to do that. Okay, so I wanted to talk about morning and evening routines. A lot of times people, they want to kind of incorporate some of this, but there's so many different things that they could do and different options. So I like to tell people, if you could set a morning and evening routine, everything else will kind of fall into place. And as a busy mom, I can tell you that my morning and evening routine really make my day completely different. And just, the morning routine kind of sets the day and the intention, and then at night I have my little routine that helps my body wind down to go to bed. So I'll go over it just very quickly and kind of at a bird's eye view. But I get up, I tongue scrape. That's a whole nother conversation, but love to do that. I use my On Guard toothpaste, and then I put a drop of frankincense under my tongue because it helps with overall health, but it also, I've really found that it helps with my moodiness. It can really help with just your overall mood throughout the day, so I love to use that one first thing in the morning. I then come up here in my little office and I do a little stretching routine, kind of slash yoga. I'll use Balance during that. That's a great grounding blend that you can use. Again, it kind of helps to set the intention for the day and just kind of ground you, really. It helps keep those emotions in check when your kids aren't doing what they're supposed to, to get off to school. That never happens to me or you, I'm sure. And then in the morning, I also take my supplements. I'll take my Mito2 Max and my Terrazyme to keep the energy high. So also obviously can't forget, I do my devotion every morning and kind of prayers and all of that. So that's my morning routine. And I'll tell you, it got interrupted this morning and I was a little bit grumpy. I love my morning routine, and I feel like I never would have thought that I would have been like that, but I know how important it can be now. And as a busy mom, you might be thinking, do I really want to get up 30 minutes, an hour earlier? But I can tell you, I mean, I love it. Some people maybe it's not for, but I do feel like for a busy mom, sacrificing that little bit of sleep will really pay off big time. So transitioning to nighttime, let's see, I'll wash my face. I'll with Virage skincare system, I love to use that. It's a really great plant-based skincare system. I like to take a little bit more time with that, not just rush through it. I know as a busy mom, we might want to just run and jump in the bed, but just taking that 10 or 15 minutes to just kind of wind down and do these little special things for yourself really make it that much better, and just kind of taking care of yourself. So I'll do that, and I'll obviously brush my teeth. I'll go make me a little a hot tea sometimes and get in bed. I'll take my supplements. I usually take the phytoestrogen and a few other ones at night. If it's like one of the nights that I do a bath, I love to do that about 3 times a week. I'll take an Epsom salt bath, and then that obviously helps wind down even more. And then I'll put some sleep oils on my feet and the diffuser, and then I'm out. So just to think about those things. You don't have to do it just like me, but I wanted to mention it because it really does help as a busy mom to have those things in place that kind of anchor your day. You know, if you get up and have your good morning routine, no matter what happens during the day, you know that it's kind of, some of that's out of your control, but those are things that we can control. So I like to use, tools and different rituals to help kind of anchor my day, and so hopefully I can kind of handle whatever comes at me, because let's face it, you never know what's going to be coming your way if you're a busy mom, right? I can definitely say that, and I'm sure that you all are shaking your head. All right, one last thing on the mom side, and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we're doing good, under an hour. So being an active busy mom. So some of you might like to work out. Maybe you're just sore from, you picked up your child wrong and you throw out your back. Who knows, right? We're always doing kind of stuff with our kids. So using something like Deep Blue on your sore muscles or your back or whatever it might be, that's a great thing to do. What about using Mito2 Max, which is a natural energy supplement, to help keep up with our kids and help keep up with everything that we have to do? So I mentioned that I take that one every morning because it really does help with energy, and it also helps with brain fog. So I don't kind of, if I'm working and I need to have like a clear head so I can get things done, I love to use that one every morning. So that was a great thing to use. What else did I put on here? Aroma Touch is a great one. It's called the Massage Blend, and I like to use this one. I like to use it a lot on my shoulders. I feel like they get really tight and I hold my tension there. So I'll just give myself a little bit of a mini massage. I'll put some in my hands and just kind of rub it around on my neck, and it has a great scent as well. Just really calming, and I love the scent to just kind of calm and wind down. But especially if you have some tight or achy muscles, it's great in the bath too, if you want to use it in an Epsom salt bath to soak. Let's see, 2 more. Marjoram is great for sore muscles. And just to think about being active, I thought Slim and Sassy is a great thing to use just to get a little bit of energy, to get, if you're looking to lose weight, it helps with healthy metabolic function, it helps to control your blood sugar. But I really find that if I put it in my water, it really does help give me energy as well. And it helps those sugar cravings, which, come 3 or 4, you're like, oh, that piece of chocolate sounds really good. So love to use that in my water to help kind of curb that. So that is about the bulk of the information. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe you just kind of maybe look at things a different way, that you kind of think, wow, maybe I do need to take a little bit of extra time to take care of my kids maybe in a better way, help make things more accessible, but also take care of yourself, and think about the question, am I worth it? Because yes, and I don't think anybody would even hesitate to say, are my kids worth it? Of course they are, but of course you're worth it too. So think about that. Think about what you can do, one extra thing that you could do for yourself, and just try to start, slowly transitioning over to maybe, looking at your self-care a little bit more and seeing how you can do that a little bit in a better way. Oh, thank you, Amy. Nikki said, can you put Slim and Sassy under your tongue daily? You definitely could. It is one of the stronger ones. I don't know if it might be a little bit spicy because it has that cinnamon in it, but I've put On Guard under my tongue before, and it is spicy, but it goes away pretty quickly. I really enjoy the taste of Slim and Sassy, so I like to just sip on the water, in the afternoons. I just put 1 to 2 drops. Really funny story. So when I first got my kit of oils, So I knew Slim and Sassy, you're supposed to drink it for, you know, for weight loss or just for energy or whatnot. So I got me a little bit of water and I put like 5 drops of Slim and Sassy in there, and I tasted it. I was like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever tried. And so for like years, I mean like 3 years, I was like, I don't like Slim and Sassy. Like even when people would ask me, I'd be like, I don't really like the way it tastes, but they make a soft gel. So I would always recommend that. But then I finally decided to try it again. I tried a little bit less this time, 1 to 2 drops in this big container. And I love the way it tastes now. You just need less of it. So if you don't like the taste, I would recommend that. But speaking of Slim and Sassy, you can also put it on your trouble areas. So if you have cellulite or stretch marks, you can put it on wherever that might be. I love to put it on my legs, on the back of my legs. So another way that you can use Slim and Sassy, and it will help to break up the fat cells in those areas and hopefully make the appearance look a little bit better. So, oh yeah, that's funny. A lot of people, Megan, will do that, and I always like to try to tell people you only need 1 or 2 drops, because people say, I hate lemon, and I'll be like, well, how many drops did you put? And they'll be like, you know, 10, and it's just way too much, right? You don't need that much. So that's definitely it's a rookie mistake, right? Oh, you guys are welcome. I'm glad you loved it. I hope that you really take some good points away from this and go, and maybe you can go. You still have time to take an Epsom salt bath, right? I think so. You could at least take some time and you know, wash your face and kind of just wind down. Maybe fix yourself a hot tea if you like that. So anyway, glad to be with you guys. Hope you saw my other video that I did, just to kind of tell you how the class series is going to work, print out those materials. The last class is going to be on next Monday, and then I'll immediately after that, I'll kind of tell you exactly how you get started. I'll share some different incentives I have for you guys, and we will definitely wrap up the series with a great class, natural cleaning. I'm excited about that one. So, oh, last thing, if you guys are on, please comment and say you are here, because I'm actually going to give away a bottle of Clary Calm. I totally almost forgot. How did I forget? So if you're on live, just comment and say you're here, and I'm going to pick one winner of some Clary Calm, the women's blend, that you can use to get your hormones under control. So don't forget to comment there, and I'm going to hop off and hop, you know, kind of look and see who has commented and pick a winner. So thanks for joining in live, and good to be with you tonight. I look forward to next Monday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. See ya.